if there's one thing we learned tonight from Raw, it's that the Authority really, really knows how to throw a party, don't they?
Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Open up your hate and then open the make.
What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, and this is Road Signs. This is your Raw review for January 5th, 2015. It's the first Raw of the year. Going into this, we knew that the Authority was back. We knew that we were getting an ambulance match, and we knew that there was some other things going on because everybody was tweeting from the arena that there were balloons in the ceiling, etc. When would those balloons come down was really, really the question that was floating around Twitter. But we start off with a recap of last week, what happened to Edge, how Rollins used Edge to get Cena to bring back the Authority. It's all very good. It's all very great. Apparently Edge and Christian are going to be popping up here and there, and this is going to be a continuous thing. Maybe they're going to be the GMs of Raw and SmackDown. Can you see Edge running Raw and Christian running SmackDown somewhere along the line in this storyline? I hope so, because they're entertaining as hell. But be that as it may, we recap what happened last week on Raw, last week on Main Event, and last week on SmackDown. But mostly Cena bringing back the Authority. We see the actual, not music video, entrance video for Raw, which is weird. It's cool because I've been noticing it for a long while. It's weird because for the longest time we've sort of had the WWE, then, now, forever bullshit. And then it goes immediately to whoever's entrance music is starting off the show, usually the Authority or John Cena or whoever. But we actually got the intro to Raw. It's been updated a little bit, and let's be real, a lot of the footage in the Raw intro is from WrestleMania, which is weird. Booker T's on commentary tonight because Jerry the King Lawler is in the hospital for something. I know that he's in the hospital. I don't know what for. I hand on heart. Whatever it is, I hope the King's okay. It's all good, but we got Booker T on commentary tonight, which is fine, which means we didn't have him on the pre-show, which, for those of you that have the network, the pre-show with just Byron Saxton and Alex Riley is kinda lame, because I'm pretty sure that Alex Riley is in that in-between where he doesn't know whether he's playing a host commentator or whether he's still trying to be a wrestling personality, which is kind of annoying. And they made fun of the fact that Booker T wasn't on the pre-show. I know this is for people that have the network, and if you don't, just go with me for a second. But usually the pre-show is hosted by Byron Saxton, Alex Riley, and Booker T. And for their New Year's resolutions, Alex Riley resolved to never work with Booker T again. So he says, I got my resolution because Booker T's on Raw, he's not here. Which is funny, but he's not there because King's in the hospital, so that's not quite so funny. But whatever, we open up Raw with a full ring, and it's not usually like just the typical nobodies that we use to fill up the stage when we want to say that everybody's there. Pretty much everybody's there. Noticeable by his absence is Randy Orton, who apparently showed up at Raw after the cameras went off the air. So I guess he's not officially back yet, but whatever. Cena is obviously in the center. Cena's the only one with a microphone, and right behind John Cena, I notice we have Black John Cena, aka Darren Young, who hasn't been seen in a dog's age. His hair is worse than when he debuted, and he's trying harder than me with facial hair, so he looks like a goof, and thanks for standing there and taking up space. Cena said the Authority's back tonight. The first thing we were told is we all had to gather here at the beginning of the show because they want to address us. He apologizes. The violins come out. He let down the fans. He let down his co-workers, yada, yada, yada. Half the people in his immediate vicinity, to his left and to his right, are heels. So I'm surprised he doesn't get jumped in this segment. A little bit of a spoiler there. But it would have made a bit of sense. Or at least if the heels had been on the rampway waiting for the Authority, it would kind of back up that WWE logic that all the bad guys get along and all the good guys get along, and you figure all the heels, like Cesaro, like Rusev, like Big Show, anybody else, would be waiting on the rampway for the Authority, waiting to greet them with open arms, but they didn't do that. They did it bigger so that you got the impression that anybody, good or bad, knows that the Authority is bad, except for the bad guys that are in the Authority. Anyways, Triple H comes out and Stephanie comes out, and Stephanie kills it right off the bat. She's getting booed out of the building, and she just says with the biggest smile on her face, "You're booing me? I haven't even said anything yet." That's great. She mocks John Cena for being sad. Triple H wonders why everybody's sad. He told them before Survivor Series, you will beg for me to be back. He makes fun of Sting, calling him a painted up goof, saying that Sting is the only reason Team Authority lost. He mocks the interim GMs, which I think is great, because some of the things, and this is what some people don't get when they bash the WWE, some of the things WWE does, whether you agree with it or not, are bad on purpose. They do bad things so that they can be mocked. They do the bunny so that JBL can tell you how dumb it is. Like, I don't get why people don't get that. But they did the laptop. They did the laptop GM. They know that we don't like the laptop GM. You had Hogan hosting for a night. You had Edge and Christian hosting for a night. You had, nobody can touch the Authority, blah, 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 blah. And he goes on a big diatribe thanking Seth Rollins. The one man we can thank for bringing the Authority back is Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins comes out, wishes Happy New Year to John Cena, which makes me smile. Triple H announces that in appreciation for Seth Rollins' efforts on behalf of the Authority, he is now in the title match at the Royal Rumble. So for all the people that were bitching that we were going to get Cena Lesnar 3, and oh my god, it's the Cena glass ceiling, and none of the new guys are getting into the title picture, none of the new guys are going to get a main event, rah, it is now Cena versus Lesnar versus Seth Rollins. Now, is Seth Rollins going to win? Abso-fucking-lutely not. He's probably going to eat the pin in that match. But he is in the match. It's a triple threat match for the championship at the Royal Rumble. Good to go. Lost my place, of course. Stephanie thanks John Cena. She says that she's knew all along that he would know what was best for business, and that tonight is John Cena Appreciation Night, which makes me smile. And then she points out, oh, by the way, John, this is your Appreciation Night. Attendance is mandatory. Gets on there. Triple H gets on there and says, out of really nowhere, Dolph Ziggler's going to face Wade Barrett for the Intercontinental Championship right now. And he says, it's a new day for the Authority, and all of you are going to get what you deserve. We cut to the commentators, who do a quick, get well Jerry Lawler thing, run down some of the other matches we're going to get tonight. We're going to get Roman Reigns versus The Big Show. We're going to get Rollins versus Ryback. We're going to get Ambrose versus Wyatt in the ambulance match, which we already knew. And we're about to get Ziggler versus Barrett right smack now. Coming back from the break, Ziggler versus Barrett for the Intercontinental Championship. Barrett starts off right away working on the arm. Psychology is wonderful. Corner stomp and suplexes, and one of those suplexes is countered by Ziggler into one of his awesome drop kicks. Let's be real. Nobody in current WWE does a drop kick better than Dolph Ziggler. Wade tosses Ziggler from the... Wade sort of lifts Ziggler up, perches him on the turnbuckles, and then sort of tosses him up in the air and kicks him in the boot as he comes down, which is nice. Puts on a headlock sleeper type thing, and from that position lifts him up, slams him down, back in the headlock. Wonderful. The theme of tonight, I will give you the theme of the night is fantastic. Just saying. Right to the head, while Ziggler counters the winds of change into a crazy control up, and Ziggler gets a quick win, to which everybody kind of says, what the fuck? Barrett beats him down after the match is done because he's pissed off, yada yada yada. Throws him into a bunch of things. Throws him into the desk, throws him into the post, throws him into the apron, and throws him into the guardrails. Now, I will say one thing that sticks out is the throw into the guardrails. Because when you throw them into the desk, there's that very protected sort of drop onto the desk. Same thing with the posts. You know that when you hug somebody and you sort of run them into the post, you're really hitting your own hands. Same thing with the apron. But to Dolph Ziggler's ragdoll ability, I guess you could say, he gets flung freehand into the guardrail several times, and it's fucking beautiful. But he kept his title. He's barely picking himself up by the ring ropes, but he kept his title like a good scrappy babyface does. And then Kane comes out and says, oops, we forgot to mention this is 2 out of 3 falls. Boot, Wasteland, pin number 2 goes to Wade Barrett. Third fall starts after the break. Wasteland, near fall, ground and pound, choking on the ropes, boot, gets Ziggler hung up into the ropes really awkwardly and boots him from that position. Ziggler misses a drop kick and gets stomped a lot. Barrett rides the headlock again for a long time. Ziggler, from this point on, is selling his neck like he's dead. It's fantastic. Drop kick connects. My writing sucks. This has not changed. Drop kick connects, but Ziggler still falls. even though he's made the connection with, there we go, there's what I was trying to say there. He does throw the drop kick. It does connect with with Wade Barrett, but he still falls. He still hits the ground. He still sells the neck, even though the move was successful, which I think is a really nice point. Counters the headlock into a jawbreaker, knocks him into the corner, hits a Stinger Splash. Nice little touch there. Sting helped him win at Survivor Series. There may or may not be a story there. Winds of Change gets a near fall for Barrett. Bullhammer misses and Wade Barrett catches a super kick. Near fall for Ziggler. Super kick to Kane, who tries to interfere on the apron, but that's enough of a distraction for Barrett to get the Bullhammer, and Barrett is your new Intercontinental Champion. I was going to say he's the new Intercontinental Championship, but that doesn't make any sense. He's the new Intercontinental... One more time. He is the new Intercontinental Champion. There we go. We did in fact get there in the end. I don't have a problem with this at all. Wade Barrett is a great heel champion, and as I said on Twitter, good job, Ziggler. That thing was holding you down. Now go get the real gold. I have no problem with this whatsoever, and it's a great way to sort of solidify Barrett's comeback, which is great. We are doing the tributes. You know, like when they do a legit tribute to somebody and they show video packages throughout the night of their career, yada, yada, yada. Well, they do that here to build up the sarcasm to Cena appreciation. And the first Cena tribute is his debut on SmackDown. It's famous. Him fighting Kurt Angle. Who do you think you are? I'm John Cena. Ruthless aggression. He's a dork, but not as much of a dork as he is now. We have a recap of the Raw last week and SmackDown last week where Big Show and Roman Reigns dumped desks on each other. Renee then has an interview with Roman Reigns where he tries really hard to get some Superman puns in there. It doesn't quite work. I will admit Roman Reigns is shit on the mic. I don't have anything against the guy. I think he's better than a lot of people give him credit for in the ring, but you don't need to give him a mic. You don't. You really, really, really don't. Wyatt cuts a promo on Ambrose. There's two promos from these guys tonight, and I'm not going to try and quote them verbatim, but I'm going to try and hit some of the high points. He makes a lot of references to New Year's resolutions. He asks him how his father's doing. He told him he's made his bed and now he has to lie in it. He says he's almost sad to be reaching the end of their journey. He's going to prove to the world that the Lunatic Fringe is actually a lost soul. And then he says to all the little kids in the audience, the devil is real and he walks beside me tonight. That's fucking beautiful. The Ascension comes out versus jobbers who don't even get the jobber introduction. They get made fun of by JBL throughout the match. But that's not all. Ascension, to all you NXT dicksuckers out there, come out and cut a really bad promo about how they are the new generation Demolition, new generation LOD. To which Booker T and JBL, who faced, the Legion of Doom in their careers, say, they can stick it. They're fighting jobbers, is as much as what they say in the commentary without using the word jobbers. These guys look like they just came off the boat, is what they said about the Ascension's competition. These guys are not the LOD, these guys are not Demolition, these guys are not even the Usos, the current WWE champions. So the Ascension wins, and they win in dominating fashion like they did on NXT, but they're coming in with a lot of ego. And the thing that I find funny is all the people on Twitter who love NXT. And don't get me wrong, guys. Do not misquote me on this one. I love NXT too. I think NXT is fantastic. What they've done as far as the developmental system goes is fantastic. But there's a couple things working against the Ascension that you guys think is a big WWE conspiracy. Why are the commentators speaking badly about them on commentary? Well, because they're bad guys, and in the big shark pond known as WWE, if they're heels, the commentators are going to speak down to them. It's not NXT where everybody's great. If they're bad guys, they're going to be referred to as bad guys. Second of all, they are, in fact, big fishes in a small pond in NXT. Now they're swimming with the sharks. They are new. This is their first day. I will admit that they don't need the shoulder pad, whatever those things are, because they look lame. I will admit that randomly having face paint out of nowhere is lame, but I will also say that them coming in and destroying jobbers, a la Ryback, but better, is cool. So they're badass heels who are full of themselves, like heels are supposed to be, who ragdoll everybody in their path, like heels are supposed to do, and the commentators don't like them, like they're not supposed to. Oh yes, this was great. And then, speaking of bad, going out of last year, I said one of the new rising stars, and I said to anybody that would listen to me and anybody that asked, one of my favorite new things on Raw these days is Rusev and Lana, but they cut to the back to a pre-recorded promo from Lana, and it's so generic and so, but all I wrote, guys, I don't know if you can see right there, all I wrote for this segment is really bad generic Lana Rusev promo, because there's nothing that they haven't said a million times before. They made fun of Christmas. They said that Russian New Year was coming soon and Putin's great and all that sort of thing. Roman Reigns versus The Big Show after the second Cena tribute of the night is WrestleMania 21 when he gets his win over JBL. To which we go back to the arena and JBL says, I love the Authority, but couldn't they have picked a better clip? I like that a lot. Roman Reigns versus The Big Show, before it even starts, two signs make me laugh. One sign says Roman Empire, which is a cliche that has been done to death already, but the fact that somebody actually had the balls to write it on a sign and hold it up, knowing how lame it is at a show, I gotta give you a bit of props for that, I'm not gonna lie. The other one said in big bold letters, Boo Big Show. Fantastic. Lots and lots of brawling, broken up by a spear by Big Show, and more brawling. Big Show does this weird sort of thing where he looks like he's, you know, what the Giant did to Hulk Hogan way back in the day when he would grab the head and look like he was twisting it right off. He looked like he was going to do that, but then he just kind of squeezed and sort of crushed at Roman Reigns' face awkwardly, like Big Show doesn't know what he's doing, which is kind of legitimate. Turned it into a slam and then did the step over, stepping on his chest. Another theme for the night. Working over the midsection, great. Commentators picked up on this, and here's where I'm going to give a really good ding to the commentators. They start talking about ulcer surgery or hernia surgery or whatever the hell Roman Reigns just got back from, and they start, JBL starts talking about what they actually do in that surgery. They cut you open here, they cut you open here, they fix up all your shit, and they do it because he's apparently had it too. I didn't know that about JBL. It might just be for the sake of him getting to say something. But he's explaining in detail what the surgery was to his midsection so that when we're watching Roman Reigns get his midsection destroyed by the Big Show, we're thinking even more. Think about after Shawn Michaels got back from his back surgery, anytime we saw him thrown back first into anything, like anytime we saw him thrown into a post, for example, or anytime we saw him thrown into a guardrail or anything hard, it was twice as effective when it happened to Shawn Michaels because we knew what the condition of his back was. JBL talking about what Roman Reigns has just finished happening to his midsection adds to the psychology of what Big Show is doing to him in the match. I like that. I think that was a really cool thing. The commentators, a bunch of times, were really on form tonight. We do the step over. Again, gives him a knee to the face, and that's enough to get a near fall. Step over and some stomping, and picks him up for a bear hug. Everything on the midsection, everything makes sense. So, of course, the typical everyday wrestling fans are going to say this was boring as hell, but whatever. Many failed clotheslines by Roman Reigns. One succeeds, and he picks up a desperation Samoan drop. Superman punch is blocked by the Big Show, and Roman Reigns gets tossed out of the ring. Outside the ring, he kicks him in the gut, works over the midsection some more with some stomps, and then, out of frustration, grabs the stairs, whacks Roman Reigns, and gets disqualified. Yes, Roman Reigns won the match, but he won the match because Big Show got himself disqualified. Big Show, I know not a lot of people like the Big Show, but Roman Reigns made Big Show and Big Show's offense in this match look fantastic. To the people out there that are saying, oh, Roman Reigns is going to come in and Superman over everybody. He had a good back and forth match with Fandango. He made Rollins look like $1 million last week. He managed to make the Big Show look not only good in this match, but he made the Big Show look intelligent in this match with the assistance of the commentary. Big Show after the match throws Roman Reigns completely through the ropes back into the ring, goes to whack him with the stairs. Roman Reigns does get the spear in to end off the segment. Big Show falls down, the stairs land on his head. He's vanquished the Giant. Small victory for somebody that, you know, only got their match win by disqualification. So he did win. He did come triumphant in the end, but it was by no means a squash. And I mean, I wouldn't mind him squashing the Big Show, let's be real. But this was better than it had any right to be, really. Nikki Bella versus Natalya. Brie is out there with Nikki because they're reunited and it's all good. I don't watch Total Divas, but apparently Paige and Natalya are buddies now, so Paige came out to be in Natalya's corner, which is fine, I suppose. I will point out, and I said this on Twitter as well, I'm going to hashtag WWE Toronto in February with my sister-in-law. I went last year as well. One of the matches that was unannounced for hashtag WrestleMania Toronto last year was Paige versus Natalya. And I'm sorry, that match at that house show was better than any other Divas match I saw last year. And that's including everything that Paige and AJ did, because you know I love them. But Paige versus Natty in Toronto was fucking fantastic. And I hope it happens again, but right now they're friends, so that's probably not going to happen. Natty overpowers Nikki to start. Nikki gets a good head scissor, which you don't expect from a Bella. Leg sweep and a failed sharpshooter by Natalya. Nikki Bella hits a bullhammer elbow of her own on Nikki. Brie and Paige argue on the outside. Paige owns Brie into the wall, something fierce, just thump into the wall. Thank you, Brie. You are, like your husband, kind of useless. You've served your purpose. Please fuck off. Natty gets a roll-up on the... Natty, based on that distraction, gets a roll-up win on Nikki. Nikki attacks her after the bell, gets her to the ground. Paige comes in, super kick on Nikki, saves Natty, and they are standing triumphant in the ring. Everybody wins. It's all good. Nikki dominated Natty after a fluke victory. Everybody got to look good in this match except Brie, because she's married to Daniel Bryan and Karma's a bitch. Moving on, Ambrose cuts his promo on Wyatt. There we go. I keep wanting to say Rollins, but, you know, that's already done. He doesn't make New Year's resolutions. I'm just resolving to kick your ass. This story has no happy ending, and this match is going to be ugly, brutal, and dangerous, just like I live my life. Fantastic. We get Rowan versus Harper, to which I immediately tweet, why are we giving this away on a Raw? And then I find out that it's only for storyline development when it's announced that J&J Security, both of them, are the referees for this match. So, JBL makes me laugh when he says we shouldn't have J&J Security reffing this match. We more so need Rick Grimes and Daryl with his crossbow to officiate this match. Anytime you get a Walking Dead reference on a WWE program, you're gonna get a big smile out of me. If that makes me lame, I could give less of a fuck. Biased refereeing, obviously, triple threats and a quick count gets... Bias refereeing by J&J Security, a triple team by J&J Security, and Luke Harper on Eric Rowan, and a quick count from Noble gets the win for Harper, and they triple team beatdown after the match. The theme of the night is Revenge of the Authority, so this is corny, but it makes sense. Keep that in mind when we get to a match that happens later on. The next Cena tribute is the night he was drafted to Raw. Sure. We have it announced that the UK has finally got all their shit sorted out with Sky Sports, and they're going to have the WWE Network as of January 19th, so they can stop bitching. Later on tonight, it's announced that Miz and Mizdow and Alicia Fox are going to face the Usos and Naomi. Backstage, we see Naomi and Alicia Fox bickering about something that happened on Total Divas, and Fox owns her like the jobber she is, and it's all good. We see a video recap of Ambrose versus Wyatt and everything that's happened from Hell in the Cell until now. WWE video guys really come into their own, as they always do. These video packages are always great. Ambrose versus Wyatt in the ambulance match, which I'm really, honestly, yes, the Authority's back, but I'm still surprised this wasn't the main event. So, lots and lots of notes. 2 pages on this match, actually. So we're going to do one of these. And here we go, because it's a street fight. Flying fists to start, quickly added to by a crossbody by Ambrose. Wyatt eats the steps and the commentator desk outside, and Ambrose hits a flying elbow off the announcer's desk. Chop battle through the crowd, and Wyatt eats the ambulance door once they get to the ambulance. Ambrose is tossed into the ambulance, but he drop kicks his way out into Wyatt's face. Neckbreaker on Wyatt on the floor, looks nice. Ambrose pulling tables out of the ambulance. They're white, and they have ambulance crosses on them. The question of why are there tables in the ambulance is obviously answered by because wrestling. Wyatt slams the door on Dean's leg. Chop blocks Dean's leg when he tries to wander his way back down the ramp. He takes us. He then leaves him sort of on the side of the ramp, so his legs hanging over, and runs the stretcher into his leg. All good. They fight back to the ring, and I think I might have not seen. It could have been an illusion, could have been a shadow, but Wyatt's face, I'm pretty sure, was bleeding at this point. Ambrose hits a stunner over the ropes to bring Wyatt back into the ring, which is great. Wyatt takes Dean back outside and runs his kneecap into the post. Psychology in a street fight. Awesome. Wyatt hits a splash in the corner, and I don't know what that says. I think that says he swats Dean around the ring. That's not very descriptive at all, is it? He tries for Sister Abigail, but Ambrose counters it into a clothesline. Ambrose hits a small flurry of chops and punches, but he's knocked down by Wyatt's clothesline and tossed out of the ring once again. Headlocks. He headlocks Dean, like, you know, under the armpit style, back to the ambulance. Wyatt clotheslines Dean on the stage. Wyatt clotheslines Dean, pushing him up onto the stage. So they're on the floor in front of the stage. He clotheslines him. Basically, the clothesline pushes him up onto the stage so that Ambrose can run off the stage and clothesline him back. A little tit for tat. Always good. Dean is tossed in the ambulance again. He, instead of being able to close the... This is why I don't do like 2 pages of notes on one match, because I trip over myself. But instead of being able to close the door, Bray Wyatt gets a chair thrown at his face. If anybody remembers the pay-per-view No Way Out of Texas, when they had the 4-on-4 non-sanctioned match, and Steve Austin throws the garbage can across the ring, and it pegs Billy Gunn perfectly in the face. Basically, that's what Ambrose did with the chair, throwing the chair out of the ambulance. Sorry guys, you know my sinuses are fucked. I'm not even going to talk about it anymore. Clothesline out of the ambulance. Wyatt is in the ambulance, but escapes. Both men eat ambulance doors as the crowd chants, "Use the tables," because they're there and they're set up and whatever. Ambrose works over Wyatt's gut with the backboard a lot, and uses the backboard in Wyatt's throat into the side of the ambulance, the same way Wyatt did for several weeks with the chair to Dean Ambrose's throat on the ring steps. A good little bit of storytelling there that I like a lot. Lays out Wyatt on the table. Ambrose hits the elbow from off of the ambulance. Now, but here's the thing. He doesn't just climb up the ambulance like nothing's wrong. No. Unlike some other super goats that I could mention, he has psychology. He limps his way up the ramp, he limps his way across the stageway, and then makes a short jump or a leap over onto the ambulance top to do the elbow off the ambulance. He does the elbow off the ambulance, and it's gorgeous. As gorgeous as something can be in a hardcore match like this. But when he lands, he tweaks the knee, because Ambrose knows how to sell. Wyatt takes the recovery, takes the time that he's working over his knee to recover, hit Sister Abigail first off the ambulance door, then off the concrete floor, toss Ambrose in the ambulance, and Bray Wyatt is your winner. If you can look at this match and tell me that you want this feud to be over, I would really like a copy of your prescription, because I don't know the drugs you're on. This match deserves to happen one more time at the Royal Rumble. It deserves to be a last man standing or an I quit or something like that. This cannot end on Raw. It just can't. Unless the way they continue it is by one of them fucking the other one out of the Royal Rumble, and then they carry it to Mania, which would make me happy, but it is what it is. Rollins is going to be on Miz TV on Friday. I've rambled on long enough. Usos and Naomi versus Miz, Dow, and Alicia Fox. Naomi starts off the match by doing some shitty catfighting and shaking her neon plaid ass. For reasons. Miz hits a back and neck breaker on Jey Uso, boots Jay's face in a headlock. Knees to the gut, knees to the face, and it's all capped off by Miz yelling, "Oos! No!" Which made me smile. Jimmy gets the hot tag and kicks, and Samoan drops people. Naomi shakes her big ass some more. Her husband gets distracted. Miz gets the win on Jimmy. Miz, Dow, and Alicia Fox celebrate. It's all good. Michael Cole tries to tell the crowd that Jimmy Uso was confused and thought that his wife was Damien Mizdow on the apron. I got nothing. Ryback versus Rollins is kind of a thing that I was looking forward to throughout the night. Now, Kane comes out announces, hey man, I really keep forgetting to tell people things tonight, but your match is a handicap match. Your match is a match against Rollins and me. Loud feed me more chance. Slow big guy style bullshit between Ryback and Kane. Rollins tags in, gets owned by Ryback. Rollins gets tossed off the top turnbuckle. More slow Kane and Ryback stuff. A nice drop kick by Rollins, similar to Ziggler's, but not quite. Several slams and a spinebuster by Ryback. Meat hook to Rollins. Shell shock to Kane and two curb stomps by Rollins to Ryback, and Rollins and Kane get the win. Now, I will admit, Kane being in this match was bullshit. As far as just watching it as a match, Kane being in this match brought it down. As far as the storytelling, as far as the story we've been telling all night, Revenge of the Authority, everybody's going to have an advantage. We're going to have crooked referees, we're going to have triple teaming, we're going to change the match midway, and all kinds of other, shenanigans like that. This fit the story of the night perfectly. So those of you on Twitter who are getting on my case about how can you support Kane being in this match, I don't necessarily support Kane being in this match, but I support the purpose that Kane being in this match served. Does that make sense? Paige versus Nikki is going to happen tomorrow on Main Event, so I might actually have to watch Main Event. Adam Rose versus Big E. I really don't have much to say about this. Big E is out with the New Day. Adam Rose is out with the Rosebuds. The Rosebuds start clapping along with the New Day. Big E owns two of the Rosebuds in masks and spandex. Come in, and one of the masks is black and one of them is sort of gold yellow. So you figure, because it's New Day, that it's going to be Golden Stardust. But they take off the mask, they take off the spandex hood thing, and it's Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. So all of you who had the hashtag, we want Cesaro, you got Cesaro on Raw. He's a Rosebud. Congratulations. I don't even know who technically won this. John Cena Appreciation Night. Triple H and Steph come out with sarcasm and cheers for everybody. John Cena knows what's best for the universe and what's best for business, and we would like to cheer. Here's John Cena. He comes out. He doesn't even have a microphone, which is always good. I'm losing my voice, which is also good. But yeah, they say it 3 or 4 times. Come on, people, John Cena, and the crowd doesn't give a shit. They replay John Cena bringing the Authority back. They talk about he's a hero, and he has strength, and he's overcome so many circumstances. And Steph, again, dripping with sarcasm, because she's beautiful when she does it. John, you're my hero. Triple H, I've been hard on you all these years, but it's because I saw something in you. And John, I mean this from the heart. I appreciate you. And I'm going to bring out 3 more people that will appreciate you by the end of the night. Calls out Ryback, calls out Rowan, calls out Ziggler, and says, I told you if we won the match at Survivor Series, you guys were all going to be fired. There were going to be consequences, and now that we're back, we have to do those consequences. Eric Rowan, you kind of came in late in the game. You sort of dropped on Cena's team at the last minute. What do you say to a 30-day suspension without pay? Ryback originally signed on with Team Authority and then turned his back on them, so he should get at least double. He should get 90 days. And Ziggler was the one that put the nail in the coffin, along with that painted up goofball Sting. What do you think you should get? And Ziggler just looks at him like, fuck you, what, you're going to give me 90 days? And he says, yeah, but then we're going to talk about it. And so he leaves the 4 of them in the ring. Cena, Ziggler, Rowan, Ryback. And I say, well, we finally come to a solution. Once they're at the rampway, far away from the guys in the ring, we finally come to a conclusion. We're not going to suspend any of you. You're all fired. And you can all thank John Cena. Now, a lot of people thought Sting was going to interfere in this. A lot of people thought that they would go rush Triple H and try to beat him up. A lot of people thought that at least one of them would turn heel and turn on John Cena. No, they play the fanfare music and they drop sparklers and confetti and balloons around John Cena, and the 4 of them are just left awkwardly in the ring, and that's how we close the show. Awkward end to a show does not mean that it was a bad show. Everybody that we really want to see, Cesaro, Kidd, Rollins, Ambrose, Wyatt, Paige. I like Nikki. Natalya Neidhart is a favorite of some. I know some people like Naomi, even though all she did in this match was catfight and shake her ass. Alicia Fox is getting better. Ziggler, in the first match was great. Wade Barrett is back. There's a lot of good stuff on this Raw, and no Daniel Bryan, which is always good. We can postpone that over push as long as we can. I liked this Raw. I liked it overall. Was everything perfect? No. The Kane stuff was kind of boring. Big Show and Roman Reigns, if you're a casual fan and don't have any appreciation for psychology, I guess you might have been bored by that. The last segment was awkward. Ambrose versus Wyatt should have been the main event, but these are nitpicks. In general, we've got a great kickoff to 2015. We've got a great Raw to kick off further. My Road Sign series, I thank you guys for all the support. Please, please, please go back to my November Q&A. I could still use some more questions for January's Q&A. Keep in mind, January's Q&A is going to be filmed after Royal Rumble. If you have questions that pertain to before the Royal Rumble, as I said in my previous video, I'm going to try and answer that when I do the preview video with OKFave. So put them down in the box below with the hashtag SPOK. Otherwise, if you got more generic questions, throw them on the Ask the Phoenix thing. You guys know how that goes. That's pretty much it. I've rambled for 35 minutes. That's more than enough. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there. Talk down there. Start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. What did you think of the first Raw of 2015? Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later. But for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye, guys.
You're a freak like me.